Hello, yes, hi, and welcome to the Dark Knight Conspiracies. Weekend Update, Episode 16, November 21st, 2020, Saturday. Slow week in the news up until Thursday when we had the big Trump legal team press conference. And all the biggies were out there. Rudy Giuliani with his hair dye streaming down his face. Sidney Powell, Joe DeGeneva, Victoria Tunzing, all sitting there. 90-minute press conference. They laid out, as they said, their opening argument for going to court, which is what you normally do as a prosecutor. They're trying to play this part into the court of public opinion, but the only court that matters is the court that they get to present their evidence. So, as expected, reporters were nasty with their questions. CNN and MSNBC didn't even cover the press conference. Now Fox covered it, and as soon as they were done, they went to a Fox News reporter, Christian Fisher, and she basically said, "Long on talk, short on facts, no evidence." I'm going to stress this again, people. They're These people are prosecutors. They're lawyers. They No lawyer in their right mind, before they get to court, provide the evidence that they're going to submit to the court to give the opposition time to debunk it. This is ludicrous. Anybody that's been in the court system and been involved, whether you were a plaintiff, a defendant, a juror, the evidence comes out in court. You don't put it out there ahead of time. Now, what this mainstream media is doing is constantly saying, well, there's no evidence, there's no evidence. People, do your research. The evidence is there. Common sense takes over. I'll give you some examples from what they said in the press conference. You had overvoting. Overvoting was counties that had more people voted than were registered, meaning a lot of dead people voted, probably some illegal aliens voted. And you can find this out by going to any state's Secretary of State website, and you can see how many registered voters there are versus how many votes that county got. It's simple math. But beside all that, they claimed that they've basically got hundreds, if not thousands, of affidavits of people under perjury of law stating that this fraud happened in front of their eyes. Now, in a murder trial, in any trial, any prosecutor or defense attorney will tell you the best evidence you can have is eyewitnesses. We're at a stage now where this judicial system is so corrupt, and I said in a previous show where a judge in Wayne County threw out the case because he claimed the witnesses were not reliable. When when does that happen? Under normal circumstances, if there's a murder committed and you've got four eyewitnesses, all you really need is one or two. Excuse me. This is lunacy, people. They have the evidence. These people are reputable. Their whole careers were based. Rudy Giuliani took down the mob in New York. Sidney Powell has taken on the federal government and won continuously. These are highly respected lawyers. They are not going to get up on national TV and tell the American people that they can prove something when they can't. Their careers are based on this. So keep that in mind. So we're going to go to, here we go, Fox News. Tucker Carlson has been in a verbal spat with Sidney Powell. He contacted her, had some communications with her, said, "Give me some evidence." And basically, she said, "Well, we gave you some affidavits." And he chastised her for not coming on his show. She responded by saying he was rude and she would never appear on his show. What evidence do you need? Why don't you people do your jobs? This is your job. This is not Sidney Powell's job to go out there and get this out. This is stuff journalists normally used to do in the past. Instead of sitting there behind the desk making millions of dollars and saying, "Well, just spoon feed me. Give me your evidence." So, now, you know what? These people need to start earning their paychecks. So you read through this, and you'll see all the stuff, the back and forth that was going on, and so Tucker doubles down, says there's no evidence of switching votes. Well, somebody sent this to Tucker after he said that, and this is a drop and roll video that's gone viral on the internet. And as always, I'll leave these links so you can read up on these things and watch these things. Uh, Now, Sidney Powell did something interesting, and again, you are not going to show, nobody shows their hand ahead of time. And what this is with the mainstream media, this is a fishing expedition. And you know why? Because they're scared, and the deep state does not know what these people have. You notice all the leaks have stopped coming out of the White House, and notice there's no more leaks. This is such a tight knit operation. And again, they said in the press conference, somebody asked Rudy, "Well, where's the FBI and DOJ?" He's he said the same thing. That's a great question. Why aren't you asking them that? Why aren't you asking them? Why are you asking me? The FBI should and the DOJ should be involved in all this voter fraud. They're silent. Well, if you don't think this is corrupt, I don't know what else to tell you. So now I'm going to go off track a little bit, and we're going to get into some symbology and spiritual conversations. This was a story reported with the famous New York Christmas tree that comes every year. And I noticed this right away. Number one, this tree is horrid. This this is like they're mocking God. I mean, this was a tree out of Charlie Brown Christmas. This this thing is horrid. Look look at this. I mean, it almost looks like something out of Day of the Triffids. But the story that came out of this was there's this baby owl that was rescued. And I knew right away what this owl signified. For those of you that don't know what Moloch is, the symbol of Moloch is an owl. And it is the symbol of child sacrifice. Now, Moloch has a long history, and it's in the Bible. If you read your Bible, you know what I'm talking about child sacrifice. Now, why is this significant? Number one, it's in Rockefeller Plaza. Now, the Rockefellers, again, deep staters. You can do your own research on this. They're in the bloodlines of these families that control the world, like the Rothschilds. But the media, this was all over the media. They reported this was such a great story. This, in my opinion, was symbolic that they're flaunting and making fun of God and Christ. So if we go to Wikipedia and look up Moloch, and I'll leave the links, the information's here. 18th century depiction of Moloch idol. And you can see the horns, again, very demonic. And if you go through this article, it talks about the history of Moloch, and again, biblical name of a Canaanite god associated with child sacrifice through fire or war. And there's biblical references here. And I'll just go through this one. Leviticus 18:21. And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Moloch. Neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord. The seed they are talking about are babies. And for those of you that don't have a stomach for this, there is child sacrifice that goes on. And what they do, pass through the fire to Moloch. They have these statues of Moloch. And these statues are made of, I believe, granite, something that keeps in heat, and they set fires to these statues to raise these heat levels through the stone. And once they get hot enough, they would put a child in the arms of these statues, and that child would literally burn to death. Uh, It's sickening. It's disgusting. This stuff goes on, people. I don't know what else to tell you. Now, what else is significant about this owl in Rockefeller Plaza? Again, think about child sacrifice. The first major city before Roe v. Wade to legalize abortion was New York. Do you think this is a coincidence? Do you think this was not a sign? And I'm going to say the majority of the public didn't even pay attention, didn't even know any of this stuff. But the minute I saw this story about the owl, it sent shivers up my spine. Now, New York is sometimes referred to, depending on who you listen to, some say the United States is New Babylon, some say it is New York City. And ultimately, New Babylon will get destroyed. Well, we're seeing that now with everything that's going on between the riots and COVID. New York City, it's going to take 10 to 20 years before they'll even recover from any of this stuff. So, Revelation talks about Babylon the Great Whore. Again, my theory only, based on my interpretation. The Great Whore of Babylon is Hillary Clinton. And I would suggest you research her birth date and then research when Israel became a state. Because the minute Israel became a state, set into motion what's going to happen throughout the Bible and throughout Revelation. So, in summary, here it says, and you can read this for yourself: an angel shows John the judgment of a whore named Babylon, who represents the violence and destruction that nations inflict. In the end, the beast with whom she is associated destroys her. Folks, who was senator of New York? Why did she run for senator in New York? Use your own discernment. Do your own research. I gave you enough to go look it up. It's no coincidence that she was born within 8 months of Israel becoming a state. Again, my interpretation. Now let's get into some symbology. I'm going to go back to Moloch the owl. Most people don't realize this. You're going to need a magnifying glass, but if you look on the back of your dollar bill, see this little picture here? That's an owl. Here's a map of Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill. When you draw everything out, again, takes the shape of an owl. This stuff is so demonic. And we got more. The all-seeing eye and the pyramid. That's the sign of the Illuminati. 13 illuminated stars. And again, this was all constructed by the Masons. And this is a fascinating subject to research, and it's long. And most people will say, well, Washington, Franklin, all these people that came over here were Masons. There's good Masons and there's bad Masons. If you follow the structure of the Masons, you start out good as you elevate yourself within the secret society, as it is related to. The higher up you get, the more evil it gets. So I don't want everybody out there thinking, oh, George Washington was a Mason, he was evil. There's good Masons and there's bad Masons. It all depends on what level you achieve. Now, to show you that this stuff is planned well in advance, and again, this stuff is out there, you can look it up for yourself. Our money was printed 80 years ago, and it's really never changed. Satan has one weakness. He has to tell you what he's going to do before he does it. That is the only contingent God put on him. So when you fold our money in a certain way, here's the $5 bill. When you fold it in this way, it represents the Twin Towers. The $10 bill shows when the planes collided. The $20 bill shows the buildings collapsing. The $50 bill shows smoke and dust. And the $100 bill is a new beginning. There's nothing there. And mind you, the bills are folded in the shape of an airplane. Is this coincidence or conspiracy? These people plan things out hundreds of years in advance. And again, I go back to you can only do this stuff without some kind of knowledge of the future or what your plan is leading to. Again, our money's been printed back in the 40s, I believe, when we started printing paper dollars. It could be earlier than that. I could be misspoken on that. So now I just want to go into some quick symbology. This is the sign on Monster Energy drink. Doesn't appear to be anything wrong with it, but in the Hebrew numerals, this represents the number 6. 666. Monster Energy, unleash the beast. Look at Apple's symbol. What does that represent? That represents Eve taking the bite after being seduced by the serpent out of the apple to gain knowledge and wisdom. Here's the back of our dollar bill. This is the symbol of the Illuminati, the all-seeing eye on the pyramid. Look at AOL's symbol. CBS, that's an eyeball. Taco Bell, most people wouldn't realize this. This is a 6. And the donging part of the bell is the eye of a serpent. Starbucks, you got a Greek mermaid god sitting there doing you know what with their legs. That's Planned Parenthood. Under Armour, I. NBC, LGBTQ. Walt Disney's signature, 666. Lot going on in Disney, folks. Again, do your research. You can find it. Google Chrome. The way these are mapped out is the equation of 666. You have KISS, the sign of and they're Jewish. I don't know if this is relevant, but that's the sign of the SS Nazis. And then we get to the triangle symbols. There's Beyonce. There's Jay-Z. There's Hitler. Oh, the Reverend. And Christina Aguilera. You got Ellen, Denzel, Ben Stiller, Warren Buffett. You got you got athletes, world leaders. You even got Trump, but notice what Trump does? It's inverted. This ain't all coincidence, folks. So I'll leave you with that. Do your own discernment. Do your own research. Don't take my word for anything. These are my thoughts, my opinions only, and my conspiracies. So until next time, stay strong, stay safe, stay vigilant, and always, always put your faith in the Lord. Until next time, same bat time, same bat channel. Good night, everybody.